The Stamp Store presents SS Specialties Decorative Concrete Products, featuring EzTop, the easiest countertop system ever. You will learn all the steps in transforming an outdated laminate countertop into a durable and attractive concrete surface. EzTop allows you to create an entirely new feeling, beautifully transitioning the old worn-out counter into a warm and inviting place. Begin by protecting the walls and cabinets with lightweight 1mm polyethylene. Use blue or green tape against the wood cabinetry. Tape the plastic seams together with duct tape. Don't use duct tape on the wood or the walls. Use heavier 6mm poly on the floor. Now you are creating a seamless envelope which will contain all of the construction debris. It's a good idea to turn down the HVAC system so the dust created during the construction process is not distributed throughout the house. Create a passageway for coming and going. Tape all other seams together. This way all the dust is confined to one area. Start off by removing anything not wanted in the new countertop design. The owner wants a different style backsplash. We're using a tool made by Dremel called Multimax with a saw attachment to cut away the old backsplash. Personal safety is important. Notice we're using eye protection. The owner also wants to eliminate the raised drip edge. We're using a belt sander and heavy-duty 40 grit sandpaper. A safety tip: wear good quality particle mask, one that has 2 straps. We're using a shop vac to suck up as much dust as we can. It's important to rough up the total countertop surface. This roughing up process is called profiling. Profiling is important in achieving maximum bonding of the subsequent slurry coats to the substrate. You know, we could have chosen a simpler project for this instructional film. However, we wanted to show you how to address complexities like removing backsplashes and drip edges. Removing all the dust and grit is important between each process, not only for adhesion purposes, but also because the finishing of EzTop product will be much smoother. There are 3 products in the EzTop resurfacing kit. The top coat comes in the brown paper bag. The concentrated liquid SS polymer is in the smaller white pail, and the bond coat is in the 2-gallon bucket. Both the bond coat and the top coat are dry powders. They are available in white or gray. If you want a light colored countertop, choose the white mix. Choose gray if you want a darker countertop. Each kit will do about 60 square feet of countertop surface, so measure your surface area to see if one kit will be adequate. We'll show you in a minute how to add color. Color is ordered separately. Add the half-gallon pail of concentrated SS polymer to 1 gallon of water. Rinse the pail, making use of all the polymer. Stir for a minute or 2. We will use this polymer for mixing the dry powders. The polymer is also spritzed onto the surface during the finishing processes. Now we're using the polymer as the primer, sealing off the substrate. The primer helps bond the EzTop slurry coats we will be applying in a few minutes. You can use a brush or a roller. The important thing is to prime every inch of the surface, including the edges. If you want to add color, now is the time. Easy Color is both a simple and precise way to color because it mixes in easier with less streaking than powdered color. And the syringe makes for very precise measuring. Give the bottle a shake so the pigment is more uniformly suspended before drawing it out with a syringe. We're adding 1 ounce of black EzTop color to the entire 1.5 gallons of polymer. If you choose to color only a portion of the polymer, keep good notes so you can gauge how much color to add to achieve your desired results. Carefully measuring and recording the amounts of color you add to the polymer and how much dry powder you add to the polymer will give you predictable results. Take your time and be precise with your record keeping. You will be rewarded by the beautiful results. Wear a dust mask, eye protection, and gloves. Don't allow any materials to remain on the skin for long. Wash off with clean water. Roll the bond coat bucket around to loosen up the powder before you take the lid off. Keep the bond coat in the shipping bucket for now. Buff up 2 quarts of bond coat and add 24 ounces of the diluted polymer solution, mixing in the handy bond coat bucket. A 3/8-inch variable speed drill motor and a jiffy paddle make a good combination for mixing. This batch of 2 quarts powder to 24 ounces of polymer will do about 16 square feet. Use this ratio as a guide when mixing smaller amounts for samples or for mixing larger amounts for the project. Keep accurate notes so you can make any necessary adjustments. Now, lightly prime the surface before pouring out the bond coat material. Notice the consistency and make any adjustment when you are mixing. Spread evenly with a trowel. Note the use of rubber gloves to protect the hands. Cover the entire surface with a thin but uniform coating. Imagine the trowel gliding evenly over the top. The bond coat remains workable for about an hour, so there's no need to hurry. A benefit of making samples is that you will have gained confidence in working with the trowel and the materials. If the surface begins to feel sticky, lightly spritz with a diluted polymer. This will lubricate the material and allow the trowel to glide more smoothly. Don't use water. Water will weaken the slurry. Don't be concerned if the surface is not yet perfect. You still have the sanding and the top coat to follow. The sanding will take down the lumps, and the top coat will fill in the low areas. Keep the trowel clean by wiping with a damp rag. As the bond coat begins to set up, you can apply more pressure with the trowel and you can spritz with a polymer. Remember to clean your tools. Allow the surface to harden, usually overnight. Longer is okay. Use a sanding block or an orbital sander to take down bumps and to smooth out any ridges. If you have high ridges, start off sanding with 40 grit paper and then move up to 80. When you have the high spots smoothed out, clean the surface thoroughly, removing every grain of sand and particle of grit. The next process is to apply the top coat. The top coat has smaller aggregate size and it goes on thinner. The top coat slurry will allow you to get a smoother and tighter surface by filling lower areas and closing up the surface. Fluff up the top coat because it'll settle during shipping. Remember to wear gloves, eye protection, and a particle mask. Slowly add the top coat powder to the liquid polymer, just as we did with the bond coat. The top coat will be slightly darker because we added the black and the top coat requires more polymer. Mix slowly and scrape the sides and the bottom. The ratio here is 16 ounces of top coat by volume to 8 ounces of polymer. Mix until the slurry is smooth and creamy, no lumps. Start with a light spritzing to prime the surface and then pour out a line of top coat material while the primer is still damp and spread using a trowel, the same as you did in the previous bond coat step. We're using a smaller trowel. You can use a larger one like you did before. It's okay if your trowel skills are not quite at this level. Get the top coat as smooth as you can. Remember, we still have a sanding step which will help smooth, and you can always apply one more top coat. Apply more pressure to the trowel than you did on the bond coat. Notice how smooth the top coat is becoming. As the top coat begins to set up, occasionally spritz with polymer, allowing your trowel to move over the surface more easily. Don't use water. The polymer spritzing will help achieve a smoother finish. Keep your trowel clean with a damp rag. Work the edges repeatedly and be patient. You have time. An insider tip. For a greater sense of depth and translucence, color the top coat slightly differently and pull it tight with a trowel, allowing the bond coat color underneath to show through. Then lightly sand away a bit of the top coat, revealing more of the bond coat underneath. We always suggest making samples before doing the actual surface. Lightly sand the top using 220 grit sandpaper. If you decide that the top is still not quite as smooth as you'd like, simply add another layer of top coat, following the same process as before, and then allow several hours of curing time before proceeding to the next step. When you like the smoothness, carefully and thoroughly remove any dust and particles, being careful not to leave any scrape marks which might show up under the final clear coats. You may consider using topical stains at this point to add additional color and interest. Make sure to allow for overnight curing before staining. SS Specialties has 3 types of stains: Sedona acid stain, SS Dynamic, an acetone-based dye, and then Rainbow, water-based stain. If you like the color and the smoothness, it's time to ask for the owner's approval before you apply the protective coating. Even though our owner approved our samples, we still want final approval on site, and so we'll seal a small area for her, knowing that it's easier for us to make any adjustments to the appearance before the concrete is sealed. Adjustments usually have to do with color, and keep in mind it's much easier to darken color than it is to lighten. It is important to protect the countertop from staining. Vinegar, wine, fruit juices, and grease can all badly discolor a concrete surface. Single component sealers like acrylic concrete sealers, and then densifiers, waterproofing agents of various sorts, and penetrating products, including waxes, are usually not sufficient protectors against wine and other food stains. For excellent stain resistance, we recommend the SS water-based epoxy 40 and the water-based urethane 60. This system is both chemical and abrasion resistant. The epoxy primer is mixed 1 part A and 1 part B. The urethane top coat is mixed with 2 parts A and 1 part B. These products can be rolled or sprayed. We suggest 1 thin epoxy primer coat and 2 thin urethane top coats. The urethane top coat is available in either a matte or a gloss shine level. Other fine SS coatings are N-Epoxy, a shiny 100% clear epoxy 2-part coating, and this is a thicker coat. This is a high build product. We suggest this product if your top is not as smooth as you would like, because it will help fill. The optically clear and shiny Spartic is UV resistant and has the highest abrasion resistance of any coating, even though it's a thin mill product. All the SS coatings are FDA compliant, as well as having excellent abrasion, stain, and chemical resistance. Cherry Wax, a protective maintenance product, is also available in a gloss or a matte finish. Please call 888-848-0059 or email info@thestampstore for ordering additional information.